Indy Mogul.
Hey Indy Mogulers, Russell here. 2 weeks to go before I take a few weeks off from this show, and I thought I had things all figured out. Next week, for the last show before the break, I'll be answering as many questions as I can in one episode. And by the way, thanks to everyone who sent in questions. We got quite a few after last week, but I still want more. Keep sending your questions to Friday101mail@gmail.com. I want to answer as many things as I can before getting married in 2 weeks. This week was supposed to be my second ever edition of the Chopping Block, where I give editing tips by taking a viewer-submitted short film and re-editing it myself. We had one lined up, and then last second I catch a copyright issue with the other video, and just like that, it has to be postponed till after I get back, which is fine. So in trying to figure out what to talk about this week, I thought about common issues that pop up in a lot of videos that are sent to us by the Indy Mogul community, and then it hit me. Room tone. One of the easiest and most basic things that they'll teach you about in film school. An easy way to make your videos sound more professional that, until someone actually tells you about it, probably isn't even something that you've thought about if you're still a beginner as a filmmaker. So join me, novice-level filmmakers, as I delve into the exciting world of using silence to cover up even more silent silence. Room tone! Every room that you shoot a scene in has its own room tone or ambient sound, which gets picked up by your microphone when you record audio on set. I'll use an old video I did back in January 2009 as an example of an issue that affects many of the entries that get sent in to me for Mogul or Made. Listen to the background noise on this shot where the source audio was recorded and used. Then we cut to a shot where we did not record audio, then back to the shot with the source audio.
You guys are still here?
Hear that faint background noise? And hear how it just drops after Tuck sighs and looks over at us? It doesn't seem so obvious till it's gone, and it's a mistake that can come off poorly if left in, like it just did. Viewers need to lose themselves in the reality of a film and being able to discern where audio tracks cut in and cut out, even when it's just the sound of the room, can take someone out of what they're watching. The sound underneath a scene can be affected by just about anything. Air conditioning or heating being on, a very faint buzz from lights, especially fluorescent ones. In fact, here's what my room tone sounds like right now. Here's what it sounds like when I cut to silence. Here's a view of my editing timeline so you can see the exact moment the room tone cuts off. And again, every room will have a different tone. A great example of these differences is shown in a video from the YouTube channel The Substream, as shown here. It's a very funny video and gives a great example of how room tone works, telling in dramatic fashion how things go wrong if you don't record room tone. And I've linked to it at the end of this episode, something everyone should watch whether you're familiar with room tone or not.
Sound, you can take 5.
Are you sure?
Yeah, we're just doing cutaways of a Leatherman in the wire. We don't need you on the set anymore, sound guy. Please take 5. That is where it all went to shit.
The room tone solution is simple. When you're on set and finishing up shooting a scene, have your audio guy, or you, if you don't have an audio guy, record a silent audio file in the room that you're shooting in. Keep the mic in the same general place it was in for dialogue, keep the lights on. There's some discussion about whether or not the camera should be rolling, but that's less of an issue with DSLRs since they're so quiet. I'd say not to worry about it, though I'm sure someone will disagree with me. Also, keep your actors and crew around if you can when recording it. Even the people just on set affect the sound of a room. When I was at film school, they always made sure that we did this at the end of every scene. A whole bunch of us just standing around being told by the sound guy, quiet for tone, and then we just sort of stood there for however long was needed. Inevitably, being goofy college-age kids, we'd do things to try and make each other laugh and break the silence. The teachers would have to yell at us. So yeah, film school's a lot of fun. As far as how long you should record room tone for, this varies also. If you're indoors and the sound is pretty steady and even, 30 seconds to a minute should be enough, and you can probably figure out a way to loop it pretty easily if you need to. If you're in a room or outdoors where the sound is more dynamic and changing constantly, record a few minutes of ambient sound to make sure you're covered. And trying to get your crew full of people to stay quiet for a few minutes is an interesting task to undertake. Having room tone makes sound editing much less stressful, and it's a good practice for all of you to get into. You can lay it under shots where no dialogue was spoken and no sound was recorded to help them blend with the other shots better. It also helps sound effects blend in better, not to mention being great to put under any lines you have to do ADR for. If you have to re-record a few lines for whatever reason, having the tone that matches the lines that came out right under the ones that you've redone also helps them to mix in better. That'll do it for this week. 2 weeks till my wedding day. Next week is my last Friday 101 before taking a little vacation from the show. I'll be doing another Q&A style episode next week, so get your questions into me at friday101mail@gmail.com. I'll leave you with only 2 videos today. First, that room tone video that I mentioned earlier, which you should definitely check out. I highly recommend it. Not just as an informative video, but it's also really funny. Then that other video of mine that I showed a quick clip of called Happy New Year 2009, which is probably not appropriate for everyone who watches this show, but we haven't gotten flagged for mature content yet. Either way, it's there for everyone to check out on my old channel, Immortal Dog, where you can also find many other old movies I made between the years of 2002 and 2009 before creating Hey Killer Films. Maybe you'll think of some questions for next week based around some of my older work. Maybe?